advice would you give to a psychologist trying to help someone with your kind of experiences? To be empathetic and to not always be focusing on, this sounds really like, I don't know, but not to be focusing on what you've learned and like trying to fit everything you say to the textbook and trying to tick boxes as you're going along, because at the end of the day you are speaking to a person and you're not a robot. I don't know if this would be advice, but like being able to relate to a client is very helpful, because then you kind of can be empathetic and put yourself in their shoes, because you know what it's like. Your experience will never be the same as theirs, but you'll have an understanding and you could relate to them in some way and know what worked for you and kind of not give them advice but help to facilitate them to get better and to go more towards recovery, because you in a way have. So that is another advice I would give is, I don't know if I can say that, but go for clients that you can relate to. When I've been in therapy sessions and I've spoken to the professional that's sitting in front of me, I'll know what I say they understand, and I'll mention other things and they won't really delve into it a lot. They'll delve into it, but it'll be very like, that's when the textbook comes in and they start kind of reading through a textbook in their head because they don't know a lot about it, whereas the things that I mention that they can relate to and can understand, they'll go, oh no, so how does that make you feel like, and they'll go into it a lot more detailed, and you can just see that they understand. Just to know that the problems that a person that is in front of you is going through, it isn't easy, and it's not like a click of a finger that it's going to get better. So when they don't take your advice, or they don't do the homework if you're in the CBT approach, or if they kind of go back on their word, it's because they are on their own journey. It's really hard to admit, first of all, that you have a problem, and it's really hard to do something that you're not used to, and if you're used to things always going wrong, it's really hard to just accept that things might go right. So when someone is given homework, for example, to think positively, it's like, oh my god, I can't do that, like it's not in my like capacity to do it. Don't take it personally, or don't always expect a person, a client, to always, I don't know, do the homework, or to, I don't know how to explain it, but don't expect them to always go forward. Like, always expect there to be a lot of steps back, because it is really, really hard to recover. To accept help as well is really hard. So even turning up to a session is a massive, massive achievement. There has been so many times where I've gone to cancel my sessions because I've been like, I can't ask for help, like it's too much for me. So even turning up to a session is a massive achievement. I think the point I'm trying to say is just be patient, and don't get impatient with clients if they don't take your advice or they aren't ready to do what you suggest, because it is really, really hard. I think this is another silly thing to say, but even just asking your client, like, what do you want to do? What is it that will make it better? Is sometimes like the most powerful question you can ask a person, because a lot of the time when I went into sessions, it was kind of a place where I can unwind and just speak, and no one ever really asked me what I actually wanted and what I would benefit from, like not just in therapy but I mean in life, like what would actually help me. And then there was this one therapist I had where he asked me, like, what do you actually want? Like, what is it that would make everything, like, not better, but a bit better for you? And I said, you know what, if I left my house, that would be the thing for me, that would make me a bit better. And so that is what we worked towards. It was me getting out of my house, and here I am. And I am a lot better now. And so I think just asking your client, like, what is it that you really want to achieve, and what do you think you can benefit from, is there anything in particular that you feel will help you? For me, I was very visual, so what helped me was like having the child service be very visual and doing lots of art with me, but I guess that's just personal preference. But for me, what helped me was doing things more visual and more goal-centred and having things to look forward to. So each session felt like I had achieved something and I was taking something away rather than just speaking and constantly like focusing on the negative. With goal-centred and art, I was almost taking something away and I almost felt like I'd achieved something. So yeah, that is my response to what advice I would give to somebody working within mental health.